What's up, y'all? We got an easy one for you today. See that pile of wood right there? We need to make it look nicer because we're into being organized and I want it up off the ground. I use wood for kind of one purpose and one purpose only, and that really is camping. When I'm here, I use, like when I'm at my house, I live in a suburban town, so I just use propane. I just don't care for the sparks and everything flying all around. In Southern California, this town burns down a lot, right? So I use propane and whatnot if it's not contained in a barbecue. But we do camp a lot, and we can have campfires there by the beach. So I collect wood throughout the year for free. I hate paying for firewood, and I need a place to put it. I used to have a great big, it was about the size of this little shed here. I used to have a great big firewood kind of containment unit that I built, and it was okay. It lasted about 10 years, but it's gone now. So I have some new devices that we're going to use to that are real super simple. They can be in use with 2x4s when I have wood sitting here kind of drying out, getting ready for the season, and when it's not there, I can put them away. They look just like this. Look, so they're metal. I found these. I'll drop a link down in the comments, but these are super easy to use. They're small, and I'll show you how they work. The hardest part of this job is literally going to be moving all the wood and then moving it right back. That's a drag, but guess what? Got to do it. So let's get into it. All right, that wasn't too bad. For you, it only took like 3 seconds, right? So it's all moved. We swept all the garbage. The rats like to hide back there. I hate rats, so we trap them. If we can get things up off the ground, they have no place to hide, so they tend not to hang out. Let's go to the garage, cut some wood. So we got to cut the wood. We did quick measurements. If you even caught it on the camera there, we need two 2x4s. It's just 2x4s. Two 2x4s that are about 5 feet long. I'm going to make them about 4 feet high. That should contain all the wood that I have. And then again, if you need to adjust it, you can. There's just 2x4. You can burn the 2x4s at the end of the season. Make it again next season. We'll show you how that goes. I keep my spare wood right up there. It's not the best place for it, but as you can see, this needs to be gone through. We will do that in a couple weeks. I'm in the middle of kind of renovating my daughter's room, so a lot of these boxes are hers. But you can cut 2x4s with just about anything. I'm not going to get out the miter saw there because there's no real reason for it. I'm just going to use a good old-fashioned circular saw, but pretty much any saw you can even do by hand. I'm not going to do that, but let's cut our wood and go put it together and put all that wood back. Yes, that's a little bit of a hassle, but it's the space I got. Hopefully someday I'd like to have a different section set up where I can keep all my extra wood and offcuts for little projects that we do around here. But that's going to have to wait. For today it's up there, and that's how it goes, right? It really didn't take that long. So let's get into cutting. Super simple. Now again, I don't have a fancy microphone. We're working on that. But all we got to do is cut these. Now I tend to buy these just little studs, 8-foot studs, right? Because they're super cheap and I can do lots with them, and they're like $2.50. So it's obviously not for super fine woodworking, but we're gonna make a mark right in the middle, and that'll get us our 4 the 4 pieces of wood that are gonna go this way, keep the wood from falling out of the side. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to cut 3 feet off of 2 of these boards because I want it to be 5 foot long, because that'll work the best for that space. So unfortunately, I'll have 3, but that's okay. Again, we use these, they're pretty cheap, and we use 2x4s all the time, so they'll get used for sure. Now you probably don't even have to be this specific with this because you're gonna see how this thing is built here in just a second. But let's make our marks so we can do all our cuts at the same time. We're gonna cut 5 feet, cut these ones down to 5 foot. If you can't tell, we're fans of DeWalt here. There's lots of good brands out there. I landed on DeWalt. Someday, maybe, if you're interested, I'll tell you that story. Because I'm a little bit of a researcher now. I was not as a kid. I impulse bought everything that I saw. If my mother's watching, she's laughing because that's true. Now, less so. I do lots of work. I started out in the Bosch tool field, and I don't have a problem with Bosch, but I ended up switching platform. I only had 1 drill. I got it for my wedding. My best man bought me a drill kit for my wedding, which was cool because everything else was not that, right? And then I ended up needing to switch. Again, maybe someday I'll tell you more of that story, but let's do some cutting. When I started doing woodwork and kind of working around the house and learning how to use tools, I did not learn all this stuff when I was a kid. One of the guys that I was learning from, who happens to be on YouTube, said, as you're thinking through every cut, think of where the blade is gonna go before you do the cut. Do it in your mind to make sure your hands and your fingers are out of the way. And that I have used that every single time I've made every single cut. That's a good habit to get into. Cutting it with no speed square, just Perkins Builder Brothers style. Actually, Eric Perkins style. Jamie Perkins would freak out. I will drop a link to their channel down in the, because I really enjoy watching those guys build. And that's all she wrote, right there. Those are the pieces that we're going to use to assemble that little thing. You could even carry around, I don't know if I mentioned this, I'll drop a link to an Amazon link down in the comments to that little firewood rack. You can even carry that around the back of your truck with a couple of 2x4s or your RV if you want to make your wood rack a little bit more pretty, a little bit up off the ground. Great little tool to have. Let's go back in the backyard, put it together, and load it back up. The backyard we go. Watch your head on the corner. I'm the only one in my family that has to watch their head on the corner because the rest of them are all very, very short. So here's how this works. Really pretty easy. You can adjust the length. You have super long pieces of firewood. You know, you can actually separate it completely if you want, or you just keep it like this. That'll keep it from pushing outwards. Stick the 2x4s in each side, and Bob's your uncle, right? Now it does come with screws. You can screw all these in. I don't think that's necessary. As soon as I use this all up, which is gonna be like 3 weeks, this is gonna go back in the shed until I get another lump of wood. And that's really it. I'll give you kind of a close-up look. We like to keep things simple here, right? So little projects like that, that's it. It's gonna hold my wood where I want it to go. When I don't want to use it, I can fold it up just like you guys saw. So that's really it. It's a really simple project. You can pick this up. It wasn't even that expensive. The little device is like 15 or 20 bucks when I bought it. And 2x4s are also super cheap. If you need to have a wood rack like I do, that you might need to move from time to time, or you don't want just sitting full-time wood burning stove, maybe you want to throw it in your truck or in your RV, this might be a great little option for you. It takes 5 or 10 minutes to put together and to build, and then you can put away when you're done with it. I do want to mention this about the wood that I burn. I told you I use it for camping pretty much exclusively. I wouldn't burn this stuff inside, and all the wood that I take it's construction offcuts, and it is not treated with anything. It's not treated with any chemicals. It literally is just bare wood that you might use for studs or whatnot. And 2x4s and 4x4s have to be stamped. So if you're going to collect construction offcuts, make sure you check the stamps on the wood and make sure you know what those stamps mean, so you're not burning some crazy chemical and breathing that in. Just something that you might want to know. I have a couple of friends that are construction workers. They know I take this stuff, so I drive by their job sites when they call me and load up the back of my truck, and it works for me. For this amount of wood, will last me like 3 or 4 days camping, and it's perfect. It burns really good, especially after it's been sitting for about a year. It's super dry, and it works really well for me and for my family's purposes. Hey, that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget, there's links down in the description to buy me a coffee via Buy Me a Coffee, and anything that I mentioned in this video. Also, my Amazon wish list out there. If you're new to this channel, which most of you are, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. Hit that thumbs up. It really helps us get out there. We're just getting off our feet here, and we'd like to reach more people. And that stuff really, really helps out. I really appreciate it. And I hope that you guys have enjoyed the content. I look forward to making more for you, and not only entertaining you a little bit, but also maybe tips and tricks on how to run a home and what types of things you might get yourself involved with, and just having some fun doing that. My experience as a dad raising girls.